So by this time, I'm probably out in America. I told y'all that I have a trip, which is why we are only doing one video a day on Sunday and Monday. This is that video for Sunday. And what I wanted to do, because both of these teams have a day off today, was go over the Vancouver Canucks and what we probably should be hoping for as Canucks fans in regards to the New York Islanders and the rest of their season. Yesterday, we talked about Aatu, the prospect in the Bo Horvat trade return. Well, today, we are going over the draft pick that was included in that deal. I said it back when the trade was made that we can make videos on every single detail about the trade, because literally all of these assets, Beauvillier, the first, and Aatu, there are a lot of conversations we can have about each one of these things. And so, when it comes to the Islanders and their draft pick, the 2023 first-round pick that currently belongs to Vancouver but has some conditions on it, I did want to go over just the rundown as to what things look like right now, how things could shape up in the future, and what Canucks fans should be hoping for. So, the Bo Horvat trade went as follows. We know Beauvillier was in there, we know Aatu was in there, but the first-round pick has this condition, which we're going to look at now via Cap Friendly. Take a look at this right here. The Canucks have received the Islanders' 2023 first-round pick, but if that pick ends up being a top 12 pick, the Islanders will keep it, and the Canucks will get the Islanders' 2024 first-round pick unprotected instead. Now, you didn't need me to tell you that. We already made a few videos going over just the trade itself and then the updates with the secondary trade option the Islanders have if they wanted to make another trade, including their 2024 first. They could do that. They have the option to, but there would need to be consideration for 2025's first with the Canucks and everything. But either way, what I wanted to do here was go over a question pondered in the Canucks subreddit from the other day. Take a look at this post made by Johnny DL. I'm confused. Do we want the Islanders to do well so we get a late pick this year? Or poorly so we get an early pick next year? So this year is stacked and next year is weak, right? Not sure which one is better. And this is a pretty good question to be asking here. And it's one that I get a lot as well when I'm talking to a lot of my real-life friends who don't really know too much about the draft and how everything works out with conditional picks, etc. Which pick should we get? Which one is the one we should be cheering for? And, of course, this really does make hockey watching a lot more exciting because you start to attach emotional investment to games that you normally wouldn't have, like Islanders and Boston, for example, which took place yesterday, that in which I have not seen because this video is being pre-recorded. But at the time of recording this audio, the Islanders are indeed in a wildcard spot. They've got 63 points in 58 games played. Sure, the Capitals and the Panthers are right behind them, and there are some games in hand that the Capitals have, for example, but the Islanders are right there in the midst of that playoff hunt. At the time of recording this audio as well, they are 16th in the NHL in terms of the standings, so if you do the reverse order, let's go over on a tankathon here. The Islanders are at the 12th overall spot right now on the dot. It's a little different because the NHL's wildcard formatting and the league standings may not always align depending on the distribution of points throughout the NHL, but if the Islanders hold on to that playoff spot and they make the wild card, they'll be in the 17 to 32 range, depending on where they finish in the postseason. And that is realistically the worst possible option for Vancouver. If the Islanders get it together, Bo Horvat scores a hat trick a game, and then this team makes it to the finals or whatever, and the Canucks end up with a 31st overall pick. Not that getting a second first just in general is a bad thing, but when it comes to the Islanders and this team, the way they're playing, there's a reason that top 12 protection is in play. Because just in case the Islanders crap the bed and they end up not getting better, not finding that Bo Horvat touch, which he actually has exhibited the past little while, good for him to see him still scoring goals and upping his career high goal by goal. But this Islanders team, if they make it into the top 12, they keep that 2023 first, they take a player, whatever, and the 2024 pick automatically becomes Vancouver's. It's a little difficult to try to project where things are going then. Because with a full year of Barzal and Horvat, who knows what's happening with Sorokin? He's a really good goaltender. He could win you games. He can win you series pretty much. If you have a 2024 season fully with the Canucks having control of that first round pick, there's no guarantee that the Islanders are going to be as bad as they were to start off this season, or that their power play doesn't mesh, or that you don't see this roster just as a whole coming together and playing better. This is a pretty old team, all things considered. I think there's a lot of leadership as well in that locker room. So For the Islanders, it's a really difficult team to go out there and bet against in 2024. Sure, you could debate, okay, well, it's possible that they crap the bed and they end up having, let's say, a pretty bad 2023, they get top 12, and then the Vancouver first in 2024 becomes a good pick too because they crap the bed in 2024 as well. It's possible for that to happen, but it's not really all too projectable in my opinion. I think it's more likely that Sorokin, Barzal, Horvat, they all come together and they help this team win a lot more games, which could possibly give Vancouver a really bad pick in 2024. Who knows? So right now, in this point of the 2023 season, the Islanders are just barely on the cusp of that wild card. They're in it right now, but they have a chance to drop out because you're already 50 games into this season and they're sort of far out already. It's a lot easier to say, okay, well, just cheer for the Islanders to maybe not lose every single game. We don't want them to do too poorly in the standings so much that they keep the pick, but maybe go on a little loss-win, loss-win, loss type of pattern. They lose 3 out of every 5 games that they play. That should be good enough, right? That's below 500, and it's not that bad of a record that they're going to go out there and absolutely tank their season, right? And furthermore, if you take a look at the quality of the draft, the 2023 draft is a deep draft, and we haven't really seen a draft this deep in a long time. You have guys that could be going towards the tail end of the 10th, 11th, 12th overall spot that could have been legitimately top 6, top 5 guys in prior years. And that sort of pattern continues as far down into the top 15, top 20-ish of this selection. A lot of these guys could have been higher picks in earlier years, and it gets even crazier when you acknowledge that, hey, the Canucks themselves are doing pretty poorly. They're probably going to end up with a top 7, top 6 picks, somewhere in that range if they continue down this trend. Let's say, hypothetically, the Canucks get number 6, and then they get number, let's say, 14 or whatever from the Islanders. That's some pretty good leverage to get 2 elite caliber players from this year's draft. And if you wanted to maybe make a trade up for even one of the higher guys, you could say, all right, 6th overall and 14th overall. Will the 2nd overall team accept this? Will we be able to get Adam Fantilli for that? Now, for me personally, I would rather have 2 guys, one in the 7, 8, 9 range, one in the 14-ish range as well, rather than one Adam Fantilli or one Leo Carlsson, that in which we talked about yesterday in the Why I Want video, by the way, so check that out. But there is an option here to go out there and accomplish that. For 2024, I'm going to be honest, I don't really know too much about this year's selection, but Aaron Kiviharju, the guy that's supposed to go first overall, the Finnish D-man, has been highly touted since that guy was like 15 years old, and he's a pretty good player, if I do say so myself. If the Islanders have some sort of travesty run at the end of 2023, they lose a whole bunch, they get the top 12 pick, Vancouver gets 2024, and then they're still bad, so much to the point that they get first in 2024, then hey, that'd be a pretty good deal, but so much would have to go right for that to accomplish itself that I don't think it's a realistic outcome for the Canucks to get Kiviharju with their Islanders first. And you know that with Lou Lamoriello, his age, his entire philosophy on building hockey teams, he's not going to go out there and try to tank at any time in the next few years. This guy, for as long as he's living, quite literally, and I say that, he's probably going to be helping this team out winning and hoping that they're able to accomplish stuff. So the Canucks and their hopes, Canucks fans hoping for the draft pick, doesn't really look like there's all too much substance to be pushing for a first overall pick somewhere. I think just with the way things are right now, it's probably a safer bet to just cheer for the Islanders to maybe win 2 out of every 5 games or something, just so they get a safe spot in the 12 to 15-ish range this year. But at the end of the day, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the 2023 draft, where the Islanders pick should end up, in your opinion. What would you prefer? Either a 2023 top pick outside the top 12 or a random 2024 pick wherever it is the Islanders finish off next year. Let me know your thoughts from the Vancouver Canucks perspective, what you think is more valuable. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.